They don't even mention that gold's going up. They're just fixated nonstop on Bitcoin. Somebody finally mentioned gold yesterday. It was Mark Cuban, and they were interviewing him. He was talking about Bitcoin. And then he said, well, Bitcoin's the new gold. And he said he buys Bitcoin over gold all day, every day. Today, gold finally set a new all-time record high. Again, we're talking nominal highs. The new high today was 2,140 and change. I'm not sure the exact price, but we took out the old high, which was set in December of last year, which was about 2,135. Now, the largest gold ETF, GLD, actually hit a new record high last week because on that December night when gold traded 2135, it was outside of U.S. stock market trading hours. So the ETFs never got to trade that high. By the time the U.S. markets opened, gold had backed off.
Peter Schiff stated that the ETFs made their new high last week. What's unprecedented about gold's recent surge, according to Schiff, is the complete lack of fanfare. There's no media coverage, no retail participation, and the public isn't buying into this rally. In fact, Schiff pointed out that people have been selling during the entire rally. Looking at the gold ETFs, there have been net outflows every week this year, even as gold keeps rising, he said. Schiff emphasized that this behavior is unusual. Typically, people buy as the price goes up and sell when it drops. It's driven by emotion. When gold rises, they get excited and buy. When it falls, they get nervous and sell. But this time, gold has been climbing, and the public continues to sell. Schiff raised the critical question. If everyone is selling, how can the price of gold be going up? He explained that for the price to rise, someone has to be buying. If the public is offloading their gold, why isn't the price falling? Schiff answered his own question. Because somebody else is buying, someone who knows a lot more than the people selling. And that someone is foreign central banks. They are the big buyers in this market, which Schiff said is also why silver is nowhere near its all-time high. Central banks aren't buying silver. They're focused on gold.
Silver is still below $24 an ounce, less than half of its record high, because the central banks aren't buying silver. They don't want to store silver. They buy gold. That is the monetary asset that they are loading up on. And if central banks are buying, there is a reason they are doing it. It's because they are de-dollarizing. They are reducing their holdings of U.S. dollars. Now, if you're going to get out of the dollar, by definition, you have to get into something else. And the something else they're getting into is gold. They're not replacing the dollar with the euro or the yen or the British pound or even the Swiss franc. They are replacing it with real money, with gold. Remember, when the dollar became the reserve currency, it didn't replace the pound, it replaced gold. Up until 1971, all reserve currencies had always been backed by real money, gold. And foreign central banks can read the writing on the wall because they're writing it on the wall. They know how many dollars they're going to be selling, and they're trying to get their hands on as much gold as they can. And the people, individual investors who are being duped into selling it by the mainstream media, are helping the central banks buy more gold for less money. The new floor in gold, in my opinion, is 2,000. Doesn't mean it can't get below it, although I doubt it's going to get below it again. But when I was saying it, I meant buy it at 2,000. If you can get it cheaper, so much the better. But don't expect it to go much below because that's the floor. The question is, where's the ceiling? There is none, because there's no floor to the value of the dollar. There's no ceiling to the price of gold. This is a major breakout. Gold prices are going much, much higher. My suggestion is that you buy more gold. Don't wait. Just buy whatever you think we're buying. Silver's not rising yet because the central banks aren't buying it. But eventually, the public will. When the public wakes up to what the media is oblivious to, there's no covering. You watch CNBC, they don't even mention that gold's going up. They're just fixated nonstop on Bitcoin. Somebody finally mentioned gold yesterday. It was Mark Cuban, and they were interviewing him. He was talking about Bitcoin. And then he said, well, Bitcoin's the new gold. And he said he buys Bitcoin over gold all day, every day. Like gold is worthless. We got Bitcoin.
Peter Schiff explained that Bitcoin hit a new high today, just like gold, but for completely different reasons. According to Schiff, gold is rising because central banks are buying it, the dollar's days are numbered, and inflation is spiraling out of control. In contrast, Bitcoin is climbing due to mania. Fools who don't know any better are being led like lambs to the slaughter by Wall Street into these ETFs and out of gold stocks, Schiff remarked. He criticized the trend of everyone selling their gold to jump into Bitcoin ETFs, emphasizing that this is precisely when they should be buying gold. The public is doing it all backwards, Schiff said, noting that the smart money is taking full advantage of people's gullibility, ignorance, and greed. Schiff also warned that today's gains in Bitcoin are just a small glimpse of the downside that will unfold, especially when money starts flowing out of those ETFs. The people buying central banks don't care about the price. They just need the gold. They're trying to get rid of their dollars and aren't replacing them with pounds, euros, or yen. They want the real thing. They want gold, Schiff said, urging others to follow suit. For those with a higher risk tolerance, Schiff suggested considering gold mining stocks. Last week, instead of adding to his physical gold, Schiff significantly increased his holdings in gold mining stocks. Even though they've had a nice bump since I bought them, they're still very cheap, he said, pointing out that the stocks are still far below where they were in December of last year, when gold was trading lower than it is now, and even more undervalued compared to prior peaks. For those willing to take on more risk, Schiff believes gold stocks offer an attractive risk-reward opportunity, one he's eager to capitalize on.